You're watching ABC 7 News at noon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. We begin with Hurricane Michael, a dangerous and strengthening storm that is targeting the Florida Panhandle. Meteorologist John Scalzi joins us now with the latest track and the impact on our weather. John?
Yeah, Scott, I got to tell you, both the track forecast and the intensity forecast for this storm have been pretty good. It's defied all odds, really fighting against the upper level shear and hostile winds to strengthen dramatically over the last 12 to 24 hours. And right now it's just a sneeze away from a Category 3 storm, and it will likely be a Category 3 storm by the end of the afternoon. North winds coming in at north motion coming in at about 12 miles per hour right now. Strong, formidable Category 2 storm with well-defined symmetry moving northward, likely to be a Category 3 by this evening, becoming Category 3 probably as it makes it onto land, or at least that's what people are planning for as it gets up, probably close to Pensacola, I would say, or Destin perhaps, all the way back to the Florida border by evening or afternoon of tomorrow, and then exiting off the mid-Atlantic coastline by Friday as high pressure then builds in and our winds shift. The symmetry of this is pretty amazing considering the hostile wind field that it has endured over the last 24 hours, and also perhaps a little bit of drier air that it has entrained. It started off the morning with a kind of a ragged eye wall, and now the eye wall is very well defined. Still a good distance away from us by about 300 miles, but if you look at the track of this storm, it continues on a track that takes it off to the northwest, and that probably will not change until it gets up pretty close to the northern Gulf Coast and then starts to be impacted by a trough of low pressure and kicked back to the north and to the east. This is the visible satellite imagery, and you have a clearly defined eye wall here. In fact, the Hurricane Center mentioned that they had two planes investigating this at the same time, and those two planes saw each other in the eye wall. That's how well defined it is. Still a little bit of drier air trying to work its way in, but it's becoming more and more symmetric, and as it lifts north, it's going to enter into an area of low shear, which will allow it to develop even further. And if you look at the water vapor imagery, it kind of looks like it's making its own environment around the storm, kind of suppressing that dry air back to the west. So no doubt it will develop as it moves over these incredibly warm waters, some of the warmest waters on Earth right now. As it lifts north into these bath waters, it will probably become a Category 3 by the time we see Bob here at 4 o'clock this evening. Back to you, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. And as Hurricane Michael makes its way up Florida's Gulf Coast, the storm is packing those winds up to 110 miles an hour, nearly a Category 3 hurricane, as John mentioned. States of emergency have been declared across the Panhandle with mandatory evacuations in place for more than 100,000 people. ABC's Elizabeth Hur is on the ground in Panama City with more.
Hurricane Michael on the move, heading toward the U.S. after pounding the coasts of Mexico and Cuba. Hurricane hunters tracking Michael, warning the worst is yet to come.
Unfortunately, all the indications are that it's going to continue to strengthen a lot overnight and throughout the day tomorrow.
The hurricane growing stronger, now expected to make landfall as a Category 3 storm. Officials saying the wind and rain will be damaging, but the storm surge will be devastating.
That is the big concern here along the coast. And just to give you an idea of what that would look like, imagine this boat completely underwater.
Our Victor Oquendo is on the ground in one of the danger zones in Apalachicola, and Florida Governor Rick Scott stressing residents need to take Michael seriously.
We've seen those pictures of tsunamis coming in. That's just, 2 or 3 feet, and that's deadly. We're going to see it all along the Panhandle. We haven't seen anything like this in the Panhandle in decades.
Residents heeding orders to leave are now racing to escape Panama City Beach. In Tallahassee, these drivers are waiting hours in line to gas up. And in other parts of Florida, home and business owners are busy preparing by sandbagging and stocking up on food and water for what authorities warn will be a monstrous storm.
The potential of 12 feet of storm surge in some areas is just deadly. You're not going to survive this. Don't take a chance.
Right now, it is overcast, a little windy, and the water's relatively calm so far. But again, you heard the governor. For residents who've been ordered to evacuate, the time to get out is now. Elizabeth Hur, ABC News, Panama City Beach, Florida.
And to help all those people who are trying to evacuate and get out of Hurricane Michael's path, tolls are being suspended in parts of northwest Florida. According to Governor's office, drivers will be able to drive for free on several Florida toll roads in the Panhandle. Also today, state offices are closed in 35 counties, including Manatee County and the Tampa Bay area. Governor Scott declaring a state of emergency in those counties. County commissioners in Manatee County have also declared a local state of emergency. Dozens of schools, colleges, and universities are closed in North Florida, including Florida State and Florida A&M University in Tallahassee. As of right now, Manatee and Sarasota counties plan to have school in session tomorrow. We'll notify you if that changes. Even though the hurricane is heading toward North Florida, we could still see some impacts here on the Sun Coast. In fact, a storm surge watch is still in effect for Bradenton, Anna Maria Island. ABC 7's Marla Spence shows us what's being done for residents and our beaches.
Right now, Manatee County workers are filling up sandbags and handing them out in hopes of helping Manatee County residents keep their homes safe from storm surge and potential flooding. As Hurricane Michael moves up the Gulf, parts of the Sun Coast could feel the effects of the hurricane and the potential to produce up to 4 feet in storm surge. Manatee County is putting their newly purchased sandbag machines to use while a tropical storm and storm surge watch is in effect for parts of Manatee County, including Bradenton and Anna Maria Island. County workers are handing out sandbags at 3 locations. Each location has a truck with an average of 2,000 sandbags ready to be handed out. We spoke to a few residents who say their property is prone to flooding. They were out early stocking up on sandbags.
It got bad with it was with Irma. The whole house, it was up to our knees, and the trucks got stuck. It was just bad. Everything was bad. Everything got damaged. This time I want to be ready. This time.
We've tried to get sandbags in the past for prior hurricanes, and we always get caught in a giant line. So I thought, since I saw on the news that we have a potential storm surge of 2 to 4 feet, that I'd go ahead and get a few just to be prepared.
With a valid ID, each Manatee County resident can take up to 10 sandbags home from locations at GT Bray Park, Bennett Park, and the Bradenton Area Convention Center. Manatee County workers will be at all 3 locations until 7 tonight. I'm Marla Spence reporting in Bradenton for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
And remember, there's still less than 2 months left in hurricane season. Michael may not be the last one we have to worry about. If you need help preparing, go to our website, mysuncoast.com. Look under the weather tab where you'll find a link to our 1-hour hurricane special and our principal hurricane guide. In other news this afternoon, President Trump has another cabinet position to fill. United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley will resign at the end of the year. Haley became ambassador in January of 2017. Prior to her appointment by President Trump, she served as South Carolina's governor. A short time ago, President Trump met with Haley at the White House. He says she told him 6 months ago that she might want to take some time off. The president adding that together they solved a lot of problems. President Trump now has his second nominee on the Supreme Court in less than 2 years in office. Brett Kavanaugh confirmed by the Senate 50-48 Saturday, which was the closest vote to confirm a justice since back in 1881. ABC's Emily Rouse in Washington.
After an epic confirmation battle, Brett Kavanaugh is now a member of the High Court, hearing his first cases today with the other 8 justices. Last night, a celebration at the White House for the new justice, a victory lap for President Trump, and a ceremonial swearing in for Kavanaugh.
I, Brett M. Kavanaugh, do solemnly swear.
And for the president, another opportunity to blast the process that saw his nominee accused of sexual assault during his high school and college years.
On behalf of our nation, I want to apologize to Brett and the entire Kavanaugh family for the terrible pain and suffering you have been forced to endure.
This morning, the president tweeting about the protests against Kavanaugh. He suggests that demonstrators were paid, writing they are now ready to really protest because they haven't gotten their checks. Appearing before Congress last month, Kavanaugh was defiant in denying all of the accusations against him. But at the White House last night, with his new colleagues looking on, he struck a different tone.
My focus now is to be the best justice I can be. Every American can be assured that I'll be an independent and impartial justice, devoted to equal justice under law.
Kavanaugh says the confirmation process is over and he is not bitter. But for the president and his fellow Republicans, they want to use the partisan fight over Kavanaugh to score points in the upcoming midterm elections. Emily Rao, ABC News, Washington.
Rapper Kanye West will meet with the president at the White House this week. According to the White House press secretary, West will have lunch with President Trump on Thursday. He'll also meet with the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. They'll discuss several issues, including prison reform and preventing gang violence. In First Alert traffic here on the Suncoast, a woman is in the hospital this afternoon after being hit by a car in Sarasota. This happened at the intersection of Ringling Boulevard and East Avenue around 9 o'clock this morning. Police say the 75-year-old woman was hit while she crossed the street inside of the crosswalk. She suffered non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to Sarasota Memorial Hospital for treatment. The driver was cited for failing to yield to a pedestrian. If you want to vote next month, you have to register by today. The ballot will include statewide races for U.S. Senate, governor, 3 state cabinet offices, along with 12 proposed constitutional amendments, congressional, legislative, and local contests. It's a very long ballot. As of the end of August, there were more than 13 million registered voters here in Florida. And starting today, crews will be making improvements to a popular park in the city of Sarasota. Crews will be sprucing up Laurel Park by installing new playground equipment, adding new landscaping, a new irrigation system. They'll trim the trees and paint the gazebo there. There will be limited access to the park for the next 2 to 3 weeks while that work is being done. Still to come in your Suncoast News, doctors already sounding the alarm about the flu after last year's death toll set records.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery?
Sure.
We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Blue 32! Blue 32! Hut hut! It's the Gatto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gatto dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gatto location near you or visit Gatto.com.
Gatto's got it.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Cancer doesn't run in my family. That really was the farthest thing from my mind. I've been an athlete my whole life and I work in sports, so my mindset was just, let's fight. So our stories are all unique, so whatever you're going through, ask questions, get information, and be involved. Don't ignore the signs. Join the fight. I'm Tony Beasley, and I'm a stage 2 colorectal cancer survivor.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So now we're looking at an air temperature of 87 degrees with a feels like temperature of 97, dew point value up there at 96, excuse me, that'd be amazing, at 76. It just feels like the day before impacts from a hurricane, doesn't it? I mean, it just has that scent feel in the air, that sticky kind of humid air. Southeast wind brisk at 20 has been high all morning long. In fact, we've had some gusts up near 30, so it's impressive wind field, and the storm is still going to get stronger. I think we'll be in that southeast wind, though, right straight through tonight and into tomorrow day as well before it starts to shift to a more southwesterly direction tomorrow afternoon and evening. 30% chance of storms for today. I think we're kind of on the dry side of the storm right now, but as we progress into tomorrow, I think some of those feeder bands will be moving in here, giving us a 60% chance of showers. I don't think rainfall is going to be all that great. Latest model estimates are showing maybe an inch, maybe 2 of rain showers across our region, so not enough to do any really localized flooding due to rainfall. Again, I think our biggest issue will be the beach erosion issues, as well as the potential for some power outages, as well as, of course, any kind of storm surge that we do get, though there might be some good news there. We'll talk about that. Hurricane Michael, 110-mile-an-hour winds, 1 more mile per hour, and we've got a Category 3 on our hands, and we're likely to see that pretty soon. As it lifts northward, it makes its closest pass by us tonight through tomorrow morning, and then it gets closer to the coastline. At that point, it may start to weaken a little bit as it makes landfall, pretty quickly, I should imagine, as it makes landfall. And the wind field then starts to bring us a more southwesterly and northwesterly direction. That may actually start to dry us out a little bit and bring us some a little bit cooler air as we head into the weekend, particularly at night. I think that's where you'll notice it, and we may see some inland temperatures by Friday or Saturday drop down into the 60s in inland areas, and coastal regions more closer to the low 70s. So it should be nice in that regard. There's our rain bands associated with the storm. Here are the rains that are just associated with a general easterly wind flow. We could catch a few of those today, and then tonight or tomorrow morning especially, we'll see a few of those bands move on shore. One of the things we'll be watching with those bands, of course, is the possibility of some severe weather, though the chance of tornadoes is pretty low, only at about 2%. Nevertheless, the Severe Storms Prediction Center puts us in a marginal category for that. The biggest threat is to the north of us. This computer model shows the storm lifting north, and we get a few showers around, but big rainfalls are really not going to be our issue. We could get some passing stronger storms with some gusty winds, but again, we'll be monitoring this for the potential of quick spin down, short-lived tornadoes. That is always a possibility with landfalling systems, but the greatest threat will be to the north, as will the heaviest rainfall to the north of us. As far as severe weather threat, as I mentioned, we're in kind of a marginal category, which is the lowest category of severe weather threat, with a 2% chance of tornadic development. Wind speeds, well, they're coming down in terms of probability of stronger winds. We're now in a category here that's in the 20% or less chance of seeing some tropical storm force winds. I think winds tomorrow will likely be in the vicinity of 20, 25 miles per hour, with some gusts as high as perhaps 35 miles an hour right along the coastline, Anna Maria and such. And potentially we could see some stronger winds, but computer models continue to suggest that those winds stay offshore. Probably the strongest of the winds occurring overnight tonight, but particularly tomorrow morning through about 6 p.m. tomorrow night. As it lifts northward, we start to get more of that onshore flow, which is where our issue might come in with any kind of storm surge. We'll watch that, but by that time, perhaps the storm will be a little further away from us. And right now, some of the computer models are suggesting that the storm surge might not be as great as originally anticipated, but the still official line is that with our storm surge watch in effect in Tampa Bay and points along Anna Maria Island, Anna Maria Sound, the inlets to Longboat Key, Upper Longboat Key, it could still see anywhere from a 2 to 4 foot storm surge. So we'll watch that, but some of the computer models again suggest it might not be quite that bad. Southeast wind at 20, gusting to 30 this afternoon. Watch it gust to 40. We're talking about 10-foot waves by the time we wake up tomorrow morning. Rip current advisories, high surf advisories, as well as small craft advisories. Obviously a terrible time to go boating. Stay in port. Anchor your boats. Today's the day to do that. Tomorrow you won't want to as the winds pick up. By the time we get to Friday, the sun will be back out, and we'll look for some drier air to filter in, pushing nighttime temperatures into the low 70s. Scott?
Okay, John, thank you. In HealthSmart, it may only be October, but doctors are already issuing warnings after reports of several flu-related deaths. ABC's Gio Benitez has a story.
Concerns over an early start to flu season after an elderly person died in North Carolina because of the flu. Children and the elderly are most at risk. It's early in the season, but doctors are already sounding the alarm.
As a physician, I'm already worried about it, so maybe the public should be a little bit more worried.
Last year showed us just how deadly the flu can be. The CDC releasing staggering new numbers, estimating that last season's flu killed 80,000 people in the U.S., including 180 children, the highest death toll in nearly 4 decades. A whopping nearly 1 million hospitalized, overwhelming hospitals, forcing people to be treated in tents outside emergency rooms. Remarkably, less than half of the population last year got that flu vaccine, even though doctors say it's the best defense.
It's probably the #1 thing to prevent the spread and prevent the severity of the illness, and especially people who have chronic medical conditions like respiratory issues, asthma, COPD, that sort of stuff. Really, the flu really impacts them.
Gio Benitez reporting there. Time for lunch now. Let's head over to the kitchen and say hello to ABC7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher, who's joined by a guest today. Judy?
Well, that's right, because I'm calling it National Celebrate Autumn Flavors Day with a Friend. So we have Paulette Callender here from the St. Armand Spice and Tea Exchange. You see me often using these great seasonings. Paulette, what are we going to be making today?
We're going to do caramel apple pork chops, okay?
Oh, I think John Scalzi is like already channeling his inner pork chop. Stay with us. We're going to get cooking with Paulette in just a few minutes. Sounds great.
Hello, Mom.
Amanda's mom's appointment just got rescheduled for today. Amanda needs Right at Home. Our customized care plan provides as much or as little help as her mom requires, whether it's a ride to the doctor or help around the house.
Oh, of course. Tom, I am really sorry. I've got to go.
Look, call Right at Home. Get the right care right at home.
At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and coinsurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans, and prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits. You get all this coverage for a $0 monthly plan premium in most areas, and Humana has a large network of doctors and hospitals. So call or go online today. Find out if your doctor is part of the Humana network and get your free decision guide. Discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. There is no obligation and the book is free.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real.
You can recover.
It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
The world is a beautiful place again.
Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC7 shows on your streaming device.
A pair of newlyweds are on cloud 9 after tying the knot on a hot air balloon. 2 years ago, balloon enthusiast Kevin Gill and Heather Silva met online. They decided to meet up at Albuquerque's International Balloon Fiesta. After a year of long-distance dating, Gill proposed at last year's event. And this year they made it official, exchanging vows inside the balloon basket. The couple then floated off to start their new life together. A commercial pilot from Oregon says one special seed and months of care produced one massive pumpkin. The 2,170-pound pumpkin tipped the scales at a contest in Northern California. It won the 45th World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off yesterday in Half Moon Bay. This was the second heaviest pumpkin ever weighed at this event, but it was still far from the U.S. record. That was set just last month when a grower in New Hampshire produced a pumpkin weighing more than 2,500 pounds. Just humongous. All right, back to the kitchen now. No pumpkins today that big. Here's Judy and her guest, Paulette.
I'm just wondering, Scott, do they use a chainsaw? What do you think, Paulette?
I think so.
Possibly make a, that could feed a city.
Yes,
but let's
pretty
talk
big.
about feeding us. So you're going to start by seasoning the pork chops, and tell us about the seasoning, because that's the key.
So we're going to start with seasoning the pork chops with our lamb and pork seasoning, which has rosemary. I mean, it smells amazing.
Oh, it's herbaceous. There's
Yes.
some sweetness in there, almost like a buttery aroma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's great on pork chops. Of course, it's great on roasts, English roasts.
That's what I love, is you can mix like an English roast or the lamb with something that's, you know, just like gives you that big zap.
Yeah. So this is great. So we're going to go ahead and put them in. And now also, you could use bone in, bone out. Another option, Judy, is you can get a setter cut, and you can actually butterfly them, and you could stuff it with the apples and the onions.
I like that idea.
All different types.
You have more time in the kitchen. You can go a little more elaborate.
Yes.
Good.
Okay, and then we're going to just thinly slice a little bit of onion.
Okay.
And our apples. And once we get them going, we're going to add some more fun spices.
Awesome. Now, I noticed that you have Granny Smith out. Does it make a difference?
I think so. I've used a combination of different ones, but I think the tartness, along with the pork, really, really brings it together.
Will hold up where a Macintosh will melt down more like applesauce. Great.
Right.
I love this idea.
So we're just going to thinly slice these, and we're going to leave them unpeeled.
Oh, good. Okay, and that'll probably keep them held together in their cut as well,
so it keeps the texture a little bit.
Hey, nice knife skills, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Nice even cuts.
I've been practicing just a little.
We're impressed.
Could get a little bit better. So we're going to let these caramelize a bit, the onions.
Okay.
And then once they start to caramelize, we're going to add our salted caramel sugar.
Oh.
Okay.
See, just saying that makes me go, woo.
So you're going to have the sweet, the savory. We're going to add our autumn spice blend, which I know is one of your favorites.
You know what? I dabble a little behind my ears.
It's so good.
So when we come back, you'll finish the pork chops. We'll get in that caramel seasoning, and I'll be ready for a taste in the kitchen with the Spice and Tea Exchange on St. Armand's.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call, and you cannot be turned down for any reason. Even if you have health problems or are living on a fixed income, guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance policies could work for you, with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
My mom didn't have life insurance, and the cost all fell on me. And that's expensive. We're still paying for that.
Yeah, we're still paying for that.
Call 1-800-218-4991. Now, in one phone call, you can help prepare your family with protection amounts up to $25,000. There are no medical tests or health questions. And remember, you cannot be turned down for any reason. In fact, TruStage policies are already protecting over 18 million Americans. And rates are designed to be affordable, starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease.
When I leave, everything will be taken care of for them.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TruStage offers plans to fit your budget with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-218-4991 now.
You now have the power to prioritize your Facebook feed and get local news and information from the team you trust. Go to the ABC7 Sarasota page on Facebook. Give us a like, then click following and choose See First. That's it. Customize even more by choosing notifications. Choose breaking news, posts, live videos, anything you want to see in real time. Take control of your newsfeed and stay connected to what's happening in your community with ABC7 on Facebook. Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert weather app now.
Hurricane Michael is forecast to be the most destructive storm to hit the Florida Panhandle in decades.
Coming up, Hurricane Michael threatening more than 300 miles of the Gulf Coast, prompting emergency declarations in more than 100 counties. And most pilots try to avoid bad weather at all costs, but not the hurricane hunters. How they fly directly into the eye of the storm.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 12:30.
Welcome back. Hurricane Michael getting stronger this afternoon in the Gulf of Mexico as it heads north to the Florida Panhandle. First Alert meteorologist John Scalzi joins us now with the latest on the storm and its track.
Yeah, this is truly an impressive storm system. You can have a clearly defined eye wall now. You can see right down to the Gulf waters through the center of that eye. And if you look at the size of the storm, compare it to the width of the peninsula of Florida, you're talking about a sphere of influence here, almost 400 miles across. So this is a big, big storm, and it's beginning to tap into these warmer Gulf waters. The direction of motion remains fairly consistent, moving off to the northwest, and that will carry on until it gets to the northern Gulf waters, when it'll get picked up by a trough low pressure and slung back toward the Florida Panhandle. So it kind of parallels our coastline, never getting too terribly close to us, several hundred miles away, but we will still feel the impacts of this storm. We already are. We're seeing wind speeds out there of 20 miles per hour already. The warm temperatures of the Gulf water are some of the warmest anywhere, and it will tap into that. It will create pull moisture from that Gulf water, and it will create its own environment. So it will actually create an environment where very little can stop it from growing as it taps into that warm moisture. Our area remains unchanged in terms of watches that are up for us. We still have a storm surge watch up for Tampa Bay waters and for Anna Maria Island. 2 to 4 feet is the official line on how much the storm surge might be tomorrow. There are some indications that it might be a little bit lower than that. We'll see if that number is adjusted, but it may not be. 1 to 2 feet rather, of storm surge to the south. Should be feet, not inches, obviously. And that could lead, of course, to some beach erosion and some big problems with rip current, as well as high surf advisories and, of course, small craft advisories. Now is the time to secure your boat. There's, of course, tropical storm watches out for our area waters as well. We'll watch those wave heights increase pretty dramatically as we head into the overnight period, with perhaps some swells as high as 10 feet out there. So anchor those boats securely now. Rain showers will be moving in tonight through tomorrow, and our rain chances spike up. Today, though, only about a 30% chance of showers. Tomorrow, 90% chance. Back to you, Scott.
John, thank you. Right now, hurricane hunters are on the mission to help people prepare for this hurricane. ABC 7's Jess Dowdrick joins us now with more on the crew's mission to fly right into the storm. Jess?
Scott, later today, the hurricane hunters are taking their WC-130J in the eye of Hurricane Michael. The hurricane hunters crew will be making several passes through the eye wall to collect data that will help the National Hurricane Center better predict the intensity of Hurricane Michael. It's a job this crew doesn't take lightly. They know the information they gather can help save lives.
That's really the big thing, is just to narrow down as best they can exactly where the storm's going to hit. With the data we get, with the data we collect, goes into their models, ingesting the models to tighten up the forecast, to give it the best they can.
Of linemen and support personnel, including engineers, logistics, fleet, security, supply chain, and safety personnel. Scott.
All right, Jess, thank you. One of the biggest concerns about this storm here on the Suncoast is beach erosion. The city of Sarasota is protecting Lido Beach with large sandbags known as trap bags. In August, 500 tons of sand had been placed in these 4-foot-high bags on the beach in front of the dunes, and another 500 tons in front of the Lido Pavilion and pool area. City officials hope they'll prevent future erosion and protect the facilities there. On Lombo Key, the town is offering free sand and bags at the Broadway Street entrance to the beach. The northern end of Lombo Key was just renourished last month with new sand.
Part of that was to help protect some of the private properties there in that location. We did it during storm season, knowing that if we had a storm, we wanted to make sure we had some additional sand in that area. So I think that positions us well for this event.
This is hopefully temporary until they get going with the replenishment of the sand.
Officials from Lombo Key, the city of Sarasota, and other communities here in the Suncoast say they'll continue to monitor Hurricane Michael and decide if anything more will have to be done. The hurricane could also cause problems for a national tennis tournament going on this week in Sarasota. More than 100 of the best 50 and over tennis players in the country are here this week for the annual competition. The event began yesterday and it wraps up this weekend at the Bath and Racquet Club. Most of the players flew in for the tournament, so organizers are hoping the hurricane's effects will not wash out many matches.
A little nervous, like kind of starting to think through what we really need to do to maximize the amount of time the players can spend on the court. We have people coming in from out of town that were a little bit worried about coming into the area that are not familiar with hurricanes and storms and kind of what may happen. So we were trying to kind of quell any fears, keep a close eye on the storm, and try to make sure that they get in safely and quickly so they can get as much play in as possible.
The finals are scheduled for Sunday morning. Brandon says if Hurricane Michael rains out some matches, they may have to scramble afterwards and shorten matches in order to get them all in on time. Some breaking news out of Manatee County. The school district says there's a power outage at its school support center, so tonight's board workshop and meeting are canceled. The power went out early this morning because of an issue with the building's transformer. FPL now working on the problem, and school district officials do not think it's related to Hurricane Michael. The district also says a portion of the building was filled with smoke today because of an issue with the air conditioning. Fire crews responded to the call around 7 this morning. The district plans to reschedule today's workshop and meeting for a future date. Now to the aftermath of the double natural disasters in Indonesia. More than 5,000 people could still be missing more than a week after a powerful 7.5 magnitude earthquake and then tsunami hit that region. More than 1,700 people are confirmed to have died in the disasters. Military, civilians, and volunteers are keeping the search and rescue efforts going. Congress has been reluctant to approve more money for gun violence research. So 2 former postgraduate students in Monterey, California decided to create their own database. Caitlin Conrad shows us what it includes and how it works.
A new database with information on every school shooting in the last 50 years is now available to the public online.
We wanted to record every single time that a gun has been brandished, fired, or a bullet hits school property for any reason, regardless of the time of the day or the day of the week.
David Reedman, a former student at the Naval Postgraduate School, put together the site while working on a project for the Center for Homeland Defense and Security.
And when we got online and were looking for information and looking through some official databases, we couldn't find a single source that provided us really comprehensive information about school shootings.
Online, you can search by location. On the peninsula, the most recent incident was a shooting at Seaside High School when a criminal justice teacher discharged a gun in the classroom. Even though no one was hurt with the shooting here at Seaside High School, it's still recorded in the database, which shows you the range of this website. You can also search the site using the 16 different categories in the database, ranging from suicides to fights.
What we found is that the majority of school shootings happen during disputes between people that escalate into a shooting.
Reedman said he hopes the site will be useful to many, but sees it as a particularly good tool for school administrators building budgets and making plans for school security.
If you look at school shootings and you see that many of them occur outside of the school building, that might make you think twice about fortifying classroom doors. So we just want somebody to be able to have an information source to weigh their decision.
All right, let's get back to the kitchen. Check in on lunch with Culinary Director Judy Gallagher and her friend Paulette.
Ooh, the Spice and Tea Exchange is in the kitchen today because there's all these seasonings coming together. So walk us through the next steps after the pork chops are seared.
Okay, so yes, we've seared the pork chops and the onions are caramelizing a bit. So now we're going to add our autumn blends that we make in the store, of course.
And what's in some, I know you probably can't tell me everything, but tell me some of the things that are in the autumn blend.
Well, they have some really warm notes, nutmeg, cinnamon. We do put some different sugars and salts so you get a savory and sweet.
I keep telling Scott Dennis, this is the Harvest Blend is like all things to happiness.
Yeah, yes. And then the salted caramel sugar.
Perfect.
So again, these are organic sugars and we naturally infuse them. They go through this infusion process with the product. So
I love that you're doing all these things right there in the shop too. So you're not buying something that was made a year ago or in a warehouse. You're constantly blending there and dehydrating.
Dehydrating, grinding, we're blending everything. We bring everything in from all different countries.
We need to do a blending class with you.
We could do that.
Well, I will come out and we'll invite the public. Let's do that.
So we're going to let these finish a bit.
Okay.
They're really just absorbing the flavors and then they will be done.
Great.
And another really easy side dish that I did to go with, I think it goes perfectly with the pork chops, are chickpeas. And then this was with our Moroccan blend.
Which is, if you haven't noticed, chickpeas are trending. The Moroccan style chickpeas, you can fry them for a snack in that Moroccan blend. Apps is a super hit. I'm making a curried vegetable stew this week, and you better believe I have both your Moroccan and your autumn harvest blend. Kind of bring it all in together.
It's so easy to add some of these ingredients, and that's all I did.
Now, speaking of ingredients, for those that like something that can be even faster, you have these great little packets. Let's talk about these.
So chef to table. So we have main dishes, we have drinks, side dishes, desserts. Inside are all the ingredients that you need of the salt, sugars, or spices.
Great.
There's a recipe card and a little short video. So easy. It tells you what you need from the grocery store, and they're great stocking
Thinking bridal showers. I'm thinking it's a good gift. We'll come back in just a few minutes for a taste, and I guarantee you it's going to be delicious. Thank you, Paulette.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hut hut! It's the Gettle Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gettle dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gettle location near you or visit Gettle.com.
Gettle's got it.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sunny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
ABC 7, the Suncoast's official Florida lottery station.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
It's breezy out there today. We have a wind speed southeast now at about 20. It's been anywhere from 15 to 20 for several hours. Temperature at 87 degrees, but it feels like temperature thanks to that humidity at 76, dew point value at 97. So again, another warm, humid afternoon in advance of a approaching tropical system. We're looking at a 30% chance of rain showers today, despite the fact that we have the cloud cover out there. I think 30% should do it. Maybe an isolated thunderstorm, but by tomorrow, our rain chances start to spike up. So too will our wind speeds, I think. There may be issues with the Skyway Bridge tomorrow in terms of having to shut that down. Michael, 110-mile-an-hour winds. Latest vortex data is coming in, and if you used the rule of thumb for taking the flight level winds and bringing it down to the surface, we may have seen a slight decrease in those wind speeds, but they may not take that rule of thumb measurement. Certainly the Hurricane Center will make their own determination on that, and that'll be coming out at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. We'll look for a Category 2 storm to most likely increase in intensity as we head into the next 24 hours to a Category 3 storm, perhaps a strong Category 3 with 125-mile-an-hour winds or so as it makes its turn to the north and to the east with its eyes set on the panhandle of Florida, up around Pensacola or Destin or perhaps Panama City, and then moving rapidly through the deep south, producing some fairly heavy rainfall up there in areas that are already pretty wet. Then it exits off the Atlantic coastline by Friday. High pressure builds in, winds shift for us, and we get a little bit of drier air in here as our rain chances actually diminish just in time for the weekend. Rain bands will start to move in tomorrow. Again, you'll start to see periods perhaps of some heavy rain, though total rainfall amounts are really not going to be all that impressive. I don't think flooding will be an issue for us at all. Perhaps 1, maybe 2-inch rainfalls over a 24-hour period. We can easily handle that, especially since we've been dry lately. Rain showers are out in the Gulf right now, but they'll get a little closer to us. Any showers we see today will most likely be the result of that easterly wind bringing in the moisture for us, or the southeasterly wind. So we'll look for that south wind coming in at about 20, gusting to 30, with some perhaps gusts to 40 overnight as the seas begin to build. Rough, very rough conditions by tomorrow morning anticipated, with 6 to 11-foot seas. Boaters, get those boats anchored now and safely stored away. Protect your investment. So I'm doing something a little different here. These are the high tides, the next 3 high tides that we expect to see. High tide at 1:39 this afternoon, we're probably not too worried about. The next tide that will give us perhaps some concern is tonight just after midnight at 1:03, but tomorrow afternoon's tide at 2:28. May start to see those winds shifting a little more southwest and be a little bit more of an interesting tide in terms of our high tides. We'll be watching the tide gauge carefully then. 30% chance of showers today. Tomorrow, 90% chance. Windy, we'll call it, with some wind speeds right along the immediate coastline, perhaps of 25 miles an hour with some gusts to 35 miles an hour. And the potential still exists for some tropical storms, sustained tropical storm force winds, probably low end, Anna Maria Island, Holmes Beach, northern Manatee County, but we'll watch and see. Otherwise, we'll look for some clearing on Thursday as winds turn to breezy, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday look to be absolutely gorgeous. Scott?
John, thank you. In consumer news, Google is saying goodbye to its social network. Google Plus, the company's failed social network that was meant to rival Facebook, was apparently left vulnerable. Google says it found a bug that meant the private data of 500,000 users was unprotected. Wall Street Journal reports the situation went on for nearly 3 years. Samuel Burke explains.
Now, Google's saying, listen, nobody seems to have known about the fact that we had this bug. You can get in, and you could have gotten in and gotten your hands on this information. So at the end of the day, this is a mistake on Google's part, a self-inflicted wound, if you will, because they screwed up on the code.
The bug may have affected, as we told you, as many as 500,000 accounts, though the company says it found no evidence that any data was actually misused. Facebook's making a new push into video calls. The company is introducing 2 new devices called the Portal and the Portal Plus. Both feature touchscreens and cameras and have Amazon's Alexa built in to let users do things like ask for the weather or make Amazon orders. Prices start at $200. Netflix is looking to New Mexico to make more shows and movies. The streaming service is buying a studio complex in Albuquerque. It's the company's first purchase of such a property, and upcoming production work in Albuquerque and at other spots around New Mexico is forecast to result in $1 billion in spending over the next decade. New Mexico's governor says the expansion of the studio will create about 1,000 jobs there. Still to come in your Suncoast News, we're going to check in one more time in the kitchen, check in on those pork chops, and then we'll have an inside look into the new Aquaman movie.
In this triangle resides the power of Atlantis.
Rugs as Art. You know the name, you know the building, but do you know what's inside? Yes, Rugs as Art is Florida's #1 area rug superstore, but there is so much more. Amazing furniture, accessories, and art. All this and more. Come see for yourself. You'll love our personal touch and be pleasantly surprised by our affordable prices. Rugs as Art and more. There is so much more to explore.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call, and you cannot be turned down for any reason. Even if you have health problems or are living on a fixed income, Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance policies could work for you, with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
My mom didn't have life insurance and the cost all fell on me. And that's expensive. We're still paying for that.
Yeah, we're still paying for that.
Call 1-800-218-4991. Now, in one phone call, you can help prepare your family with protection amounts up to $25,000. There are no medical tests or health questions. And remember, you cannot be turned down for any reason. In fact, TruStage policies are already protecting over 18 million Americans. And rates are designed to be affordable, starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease.
When I leave, everything will be taken care of for them.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TruStage offers plans to fit your budget with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-218-4991 now.
ABC7 is the most watched, most trusted news source on the Suncoast, and we owe it all to you, our loyal viewers. Thank you for making us #1.
And now I get the first bite today, which is pretty exciting. So you have these beautiful seared pork chops, and tell us again the seasonings you used.
Lamb and pork roast, the one that we make in the store. We'll make all the blends in the store. And then we seared them. And then once we caramelized the onions and the apples, we added the autumn blend and the salted caramel
Just beautiful.
sugar.
Now, while I take a bite, you tell us about an event that's coming up.
Oh, Classico. Next Thursday, we have a chef series, 4 courses, wine pairings for $39.95 plus tax and tip. You can call the Spice and Tea Exchange at 941-388-1411.
Sounds great, and I'll look forward to seeing you there. Remember to go on our website, mysuncoast.com, to get the recipe. And Scott, we have a pork chop with your name on it.
Sounds great. Thank you both. Coming up on ABC 7 News at 4, FEMA is helping people in search of safe havens for their livestock ahead of Hurricane Michael's arrival. And then Venice police clarifying after they warned people about a donation scam that we've learned it was actually legit. We hope you'll join us later today at 4 o'clock. Faith Hill will be one of the judges on a new talent competition for the entire planet. Hill will join Drew Barrymore and RuPaul as judges for the world's best. James Corden will host. Contestants from around the world and from all fields of entertainment not only have to impress the American judges, but a panel of 50 experts from different countries as well. The series will premiere next year.
In this trident resides the power of Atlantis.
Well, this trailer has the power. Warner Brothers releasing a 5-minute-plus Aquaman trailer for New York Comic Con, including a look at Nicole Kidman as his mother, Queen of Atlantis. Jason Momoa stars as Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman. The movie will swim into theaters on December 21st. Pretty cool.
That was my favorite comic.
Was it really?
Oh, wow.
This is great. I can't wait for that movie.
And now you swim like Aquaman.
So, of course, another full advisory comes out from the Hurricane Center this afternoon, and Bob will have that for you at this evening. We'll also be watching very carefully the tide gauges over the next 24 hours. Wind speeds will be elevated. Thunderstorms will be moving through tomorrow. So it'll be a slow go tomorrow morning, I think.
Okay. John, thank you. Judy, thanks. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again at 4 o'clock.